And we are live, mister.
We are indeed.
We are
So we're back
live.
again in the hot seats. Deval and I, we're bringing you episode 200. I'm going to get this one right. 288.
288. I'm here with my mates.
Mates. Oh, yeah. So,
Fair dinkum, mate.
fair income, mate. G'day, mate. So listen, look, we've got episode 288. We've got, so Deval, man, you've been sitting on this review for... I've asked you to sit on this review for quite a while, for at least about 2 weeks, maybe even longer, who knows. But
Pulled it out. Here you are.
So we're going to be bringing you a review of Strangers Part 1. And so stick around for that one. And then obviously we're going to bring you a nice hidden gem as well that we want to speak about. So we're going to bring the usual, so film news, shout outs, the whole thing, trailers, whatever. So stick with us for the next half an hour or so. But before then, Deval?
Yep, I got one shout out today. One very, very special shout out. And this one goes to Danny Satsias. So it is actually her birthday. So happy birthday to Danny Satsia. So she loves the show. She loves movies. She's a really energetic person, really great person, friend of the show. And we just want to say happy birthday to you. I think she turns about 25.
Okay.
25.
Danny...
I'm joking. She's not 25, but
how about if we got Danny Satsias on the show? Danny, what do you think about coming on the show talking about your favorite movies?
She's up for that. And one of these days we're going to get her on. I'm sneakily waiting for there to be like a film. I know she does her Disney films. She does the Disney, Lion King and all that kind of stuff.
Mufasa's coming out, isn't it?
Exactly. Also, any films to do with fitness and stuff, because she also has her own company, Awesome Bodies PT, because she is an Awesome Bodies PT. Based in London. So go check out her page on Instagram as well. But yeah, we'll get her on the show soon, and you can see and you can speak to her and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, big shout out to Danny.
Big shout out. All right, okay, let's move on. Let's get into the show. Let's start with movie news. So I think, man, we've had rumors about this pop up on the show before, and we said, oh, is it going to be like a new He-Man? Is it going to be kind of, Masters of the Universe? And we had the kind of animation that happened on Netflix, and I'm not sure if that went down that well, actually, Deval.
No, it
didn't. Well, exactly. So, but listen, look, they're still moving ahead with this. So what's going on, man? Are we going to get a live action He-Man movie?
Mate, well, when was it? Was it 19? No, hold on. Was it the 80s when Dolph Lundgren and Courtney Cox?
1988, I think it was.
1988. Blimey heck. Man, but yeah, this one, so this one here, basically a guy called Nicholas Galitzine. So Nicholas Galitzine is set to play the live action, He-Man. We last saw him on Amazon Prime. There's is it a film? It's a film called The Idea of You, and that's a film with so it's got. This is gonna get me. I knew it was gonna get me. The one whose name we always forget. She was. If she's listening to the show, she's gonna cuss us. She was in Batman with Bane. What's her name? You see, I knew her name. Do you know what it is? Yeah, I know her name before the show. During the show, her name always goes out my head. She was in The Devil Wears Prada as well, wasn't she?
Man, she's massive. And we always mess it up because we can't remember her name.
This is weird, though. This is weird because literally I researched before the show. I know her name before the show. During the show,
it just came to me.
Okay, go on then. What is it?
Anne Hathaway.
That's it. Why does it always do that?
Why does it always happen?
So yeah,
listen, listen. Look, we love you, but listen. All right, okay, go on, Deval. Sorry, yeah. So the guy, he was in a film with her.
On Amazon Prime called The Idea of You, where he's younger and she's older, and they're in a relationship.
I saw it.
I think the idea is that you're in love with the idea of me rather than actually me, because we don't actually, we're too different. But so he's the guy in that. He's supposed to be playing the new He-Man. I'm honest with you. I don't see it.
No,
I don't see it, but it could be. I reckon the perfect He-Man, even though it will never happen, Chris Hemsworth, or even his
Yeah,
brother Luke,
Luke.
who's now come out as the Witcher.
Yeah.
Someone like that. Do you know what I mean? Could be He-Man, but this guy, I don't
Probably
know, man.
someone beefy, man. And the thing
Yeah,
is, I remember this was maybe about a year ago. We spoke about it on the show. There was this kid called Noah Centino.
yeah,
He was in the not Black Adam. He
yep,
was in Black Adam, and there was talk about him playing He-Man, and then
yep,
obviously that was kind of casting rumors and stuff like that. So
yep.
listen, look, stuff changes in Hollywood, but listen, look,
Hmm.
obviously we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how that pans out. I wonder if Netflix will have that one, Devel.
Probably, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe. All right, we'll keep you posted on that one. So that's He-Man. Now, speaking about Chris Hemsworth, Devour, and
Hmm.
speaking about other universes, Chris,
Hmm.
tell us about Chris Hemsworth, the GI Joe and Transformers universe, because this is going to be big, man. They've set this up, haven't they already?
Yeah. So as we just nicely laid up,
Mm,
He-Man, really beloved cartoon from the 80s.
mm,
Transformers, another beloved cartoon from the
yep,
80s. And we've seen more recently, TV show, movies and stuff
yep.
like that. Also saw G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe Snake Eyes and all
Yeah,
that
man.
Retribution, whatever it's called. Now those two universes are molding. We
Yeah,
saw from the recent Transformers film, what was it called? Transformers Rise of the Beast, I think it was called.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
At the end of that one, there was a bit of a sort of post-credit scene that integrates or introduces now the GI Joe to the Transformers
Yeah.
world. So that's going to be happening now, and they're saying that they're in talks to chat with Chris Hemsworth, Thor, who's big bulky guy, he's good at franchises.
Mm.
So that's something that could happen on Paramount or for Paramount anyway. So
Well, yeah, I could see it happen. Like, I know this guy Chris Hemsworth. He did this documentary which is out on Disney Plus, and it was basically
yeah.
apparently he was told he's got like kind of like a heart condition, and then he kind of wanted to slow
Mm,
down a bit. And then I thought to myself, flipping out, he just did Furiosa. That's probably got to be one of the most like hell-raising film shoot that there probably is. But apparently he wants to kind of slow down with making movies.
okay.
He wants to kind of do kind of not crazy ones. But I got to say, we're still going to see him. He's going to pop up in as Thor again at some point, though.
Mm. Yeah, I hope he doesn't, but
I hope there's a delay. They take their
yeah,
time, and it's
yeah,
a good 2 or 3 years.
yeah.
But maybe so we'll see what happens. So there's kind of other projects that I reckon he probably wants to do as
Mm,
well. But listen,
mm.
look, let's move on. I want to speak about this one. So Deval, you and I remember we watched kind of, I think it was back in 2019. We watched I think it was 2019.
2017. Whew.
2017 It.
I think
Oh my gosh.
2019 was the sequel, or 2020 was the sequel. But yeah,
Right.
2017. Whew.
2017, Andy
Mm,
Muschietti, the director of The Flash, and it was kind of at that time it was the most successful R-rated movie that had come out, based on a Stephen King novel, Pennywise the Clown, and everything, and it starred Bill Skarsgård, and you spoke about
mm.
Bill Skarsgård not too long ago, actually, on Boy Kills World, I think it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
He's turning into this kind of action kind of guy, but he started off, he was famous for it. But check this out: Bill Skarsgård has been cast in the upcoming prequel show, Deval, called Welcome to Derry. You know how
Mm,
that whole It universe is
mm.
kind of the location of it is called Derry. So Stephen King is called he writes about this place called Derry in his novels and everything.
Yeah.
And so Skarsgård is going to be reprising his role
Ah,
as Pennywise. So they're bringing him back, but this is going to be a prequel to all of that stuff.
they love
So
a
remember,
prequel, innit? Hollywood loves a prequel,
loves
man.
cool.
Ah,
And the thing is, it's gonna feature Bill Skarsgård, and who else is it gonna have? I'm just trying to think. So it's got
mm,
producers going to be Barbara and Andy Muschietti, so they're going to be back on
okay.
board. And I guess it's going to be before the events of, because remember he's got this history. He comes to that town every kind of 100 years or something.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be, so it might be like back in the
Back
1800s
in
or
the
something
day,
like that.
like yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So because the
yeah, yeah,
Pennywise has
yeah.
been like been around
Ah,
because the first movie was set in the when was it, in the novel? I think it was set in the 1960s or something.
yeah, I
So
think
maybe
so.
they go back. I just
Interesting.
thought, it's interesting, man. Like, Hollywood, they want to kind of go back and revisit stuff and prequel It's a big kind of franchise that is. And talking about prequels, I got to mention this one. So
Mm,
you know how Zack Schneider, he's kind of
mm,
released these movies on Netflix, the Rebel Moon kind of
yeah.
universe. They haven't done too well, but the rumor is that he's going to bring a 300 prequel,
Oh,
and it's
another
going to be a
prequel.
TV show this time. So we already had 300 Rise of the. Remember, there was that
Empire or something?
Empire, wasn't it? And that kind
Yeah,
of takes place after the events of 300, because Leonidas, he's dead, and then
yeah,
there was one
yeah,
survivor. He goes back to Sparta,
yeah.
and then they come back with more people. But this one, what they're saying is that Deborah and Zach, they're going to kind of get back together again,
Mm,
and they're going to produce a prequel series. So think
mm.
of Game of Thrones. Think of what was the one? What was the Greek one? No, the Roman one.
Which one?
Spartacus.
Okay, okay, okay. Oh, I liked a bit of Spartacus.
Spartacus was great. So
Loved a bit of
kind of that type of a
Spartacus.
vibe. So 300, obviously that whole universe, but maybe Spartacus vibe, episodic kind of story.
Mm,
Um, yeah, man. And it was his biggest movie, I reckon. These Rebel Moon movies, they haven't done as well.
mm-mm,
And
mm-mm.
maybe he wants to get into something which has probably already got an inbuilt base, which is going to be
Yeah,
successful type of
but
thing.
then
But
you can go one of two ways. That you can the base can be like really happy and love what you do, or you can
mm,
alienate your base. So it can go
absolutely.
either way. It's a big risk because 300 is beloved. I love 300.
Me too, man.
Mm,
Me too. So yeah. So as soon as we get more information on that, we will let you know. And finally, I just want to kind of mention this. I didn't even know this was happening, but I started looking into it. Jurassic World Part 4. They've already got casting rumors already out there, and they're saying Mahershala Ali is in talks to star in Part 4. But check this out. There isn't just him. They're saying it's going to be joining him will be Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey. He's from Bridgerton. The Lincoln lawyer's Manuel Garcia Rolfo. I don't know who that is. And Obi-Wan Kenobi's Rupert Friend. So
mm.
I can't even remember how the third one ended, mate. Jurassic World 3.
Oh, Falling King. Yeah, no, no,
The one
Dominion.
where
Yeah,
they're in Rome.
Dominion. Yeah, it's rubbish. It was the worst
Yeah,
one. They got worse as they went on. Yeah, and
yeah.
it brought back Sam Neill, Laura Dern. It brought back Jeff Goldblum. They was
Mm,
trying. I remember one scene. It reminded me of Ghostbusters, the recent Ghostbusters.
yeah.
There's one scene where there's like 10 of them there, standing there, going like that, and it's like it's too many
It's just
people.
so silly.
It's
I
just,
know.
it's just, it wasn't. Oh,
I know, I know, man, I know. So listen, folks, I guess, because they still end up making like a shitload of money, and I guess they basically just have to keep the cinematic universe going. And I wonder if Chris Pratt is going to be in it. But anyway, we'll wait and see. That is your movie news for now. Remember, keep it locked with the Flixters, because next week we'll bring you more news. Let's go on to new on streaming. Now, this thing has popped up. I haven't seen this, so disclaimer: I haven't seen this just yet.
me too.
But this just dropped on Friday, yesterday. Um, and this is called Eric, and it stars
Mm,
Benedict Cumberbatch. And it's set in the 1980s New York, and it's this
mm,
kind of murder mystery. Benedict Cumberbatch's child's gone missing. So it's this kind of
mm,
this who done it, this kind of real kind of like mystery about, right, kidnapping, maybe possibly a murder. So it's Benedict Cumberbatch's story about his life and his child, and then it's also the police kind of procedural about how they find and track down this person and this missing child case. And I got to say, I like the aesthetics of the movie. It's got that 80s kind of Brooklyn kind of like, really kind of gritty vibe to it. I haven't read the review, so I don't know much about it, but it's just popped up on Netflix, Deval. Have you seen the trailer for this or anything?
I've seen the trailer. It looks interesting. I didn't
Mm,
realize it was his son that's gone missing. I
yeah.
thought he was a detective or something, but
Mm,
it does look interesting. It's done by Abby Morgan, who also wrote Shame. That's another uh, Cumberbatch film. Do you remember that one where he's a sex
yeah.
addict or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
Something mad like that. But yeah, it looks like it could be an interesting one. I definitely will watch it once my Netflix
Mm,
gets up and running again.
yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, apparently that's already out there, and I think there's like about 6 episodes on that one. Interesting that Benedict Cumberbatch, he's not afraid to kind of do, mix in with the TV and like kind of do the Netflix six-parters and
Yeah,
do the
yeah.
big budget, Disney films and stuff. I guess that's the type of actor that he is. So
Mm.
it's interesting. So check that one out on streaming. Now, trailers. I haven't seen this, Deval, but this is a franchise that is has been there for years and years and years. This is Return to Silent Hill.
Do we need to return
Do
there? I
we
don't
need
I
to
don't
return
know. I must say the original Silent Hill came out in, oh my gosh,
the game, man? They were
2005, I think.
yeah,
Was it 2005?
possibly.
It might be, yeah. It was a long time ago. No, I think it might have been around then. But yeah, that
Mm,
film obviously it's based off a computer game, like a bit
yep,
like
from
Resident
Sony.
Evil, really
Yeah,
eerie, really scary. And Silent Hill, the one I watched, the original one, it had one of the most original deaths I've seen in a movie,
I remember you saying that.
where this big creature with a big triangular helmet, I think they call him Pyramid Head. He's got a helmet like a pyramid and a
Yeah,
big sword. He grabs this lady, he grabs her back. He's massive, by the way. He's like 10 foot. He grabs her back, and he just goes whoosh and rips all her skin off with
mad.
one, and then he throws it at someone. It is, and I saw that, I could not believe what I was seeing. That was such an original death.
That's wicked.
But yeah, so Return to Silent Hill's coming out soon. The trailer is available. It looks similar, very, again, very eerie and stuff like that.
Mm,
And
mm.
it looks like more of the same. If it is more of the same, I think it's worth a watch.
Okay, and you know what? Was that a Netflix exclusive?
But the first film,
Yeah.
no,
Wasn't
cinema. I
there
went
one of those?
cinema.
That was a cinema thing, was it? Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
there have been some other ones that are not so good in between. I think
Yeah.
I can't remember the title of them, but yeah, there's been some other Silent Hill
Yeah.
sort of movies and
Yeah.
games as
Yeah.
well.
And games as well, right? Okay. So go check up on that. That's called Return to Silent Hill. Now, this other one, this next one, this popped up on my YouTube kind of trailer channel thing. This one's called Wolves, and it stars Brad Pitt and George Clooney. And then
Mm,
when I saw those two together, I thought, you know what? Over the last kind of 5-6 years, Brad Pitt, he's been making movies like
yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and like you see him in Bullet Train, and he's kind of popped up. George Clooney, Deval, I just thought, shit, where's George Clooney been? The only thing he was in a cameo in The Flash, which
Mm.
was very recent. But apart from that, I haven't really seen him in anything much, have I? Or have we?
He's selling the coffee machines, isn't
Oh,
he? The little,
Nescafe. Is it Nescafe
I,
or
I don't know, it's like an
Espresso or
Italian
something?
name. Yeah, so he's doing. I guess he's doing other stuff. Maybe he hasn't got
Mm,
the same desire to perform. I'm sure he's still making do re mi with other investments and stuff. But yeah,
yep.
you're right. I've not really seen him in a while.
No, and this one where it's kind of interesting. So when the trailer starts, it's funny because I thought this is giving me Equalizer vibes. Like
Mm,
some woman, she's in a bit of a spot of bother, and he's the type of person that you call to help out in that spot of bother. And then I thought, oh shit, we're gonna get another Equalizer. But then it kind of changes tack a little bit. So it's kind of this action comedy.
yeah,
So Brad Pitt turns up on the scene as well. So they both have the similar job. They're the people that you call to clean like shit up when things go messy, and they
yeah,
both call to that one job. But they
yeah,
have a history. These two, they were partners before, like as in not like relationship partners, but like they were like maybe worked as a team together or something like that. So they're kind of this bickering, team, and then they get sucked into this kind of world of, drugs and, fighting the bad guys. So funny action comedy. And just seeing the relationship between Brad Pitt and George Clooney, which we haven't seen since
mm.
Oceans 11, 12, and 13.
Directed by John Watts, who directed
Mm,
the Spider-Man trilogy,
yeah,
Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. So it's in good hands. So you're going to have a
yeah,
good comedy action
I think so.
blend. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sorry, this looks good.
Sorry.
Is this on Apple TV or is it cinema?
It's the
I think it's on
Apple TV.
Apple TV, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're going to get this soon, September 20th. So
Exactly.
semi
So
soon.
semi soon. So have a look at that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's interesting just to see those guys riffing off of each other. And then on Anniversary Corner, let's kind of change the genre a bit. Let's go a bit darker. Let's go
Hmm.
possession. Let's go.
Mm.
This is, I mean, Deval, come on, man. The titles of
Mm.
these movies, you know, when you have the possession of flipping Gabby Logan, and then when you have the
Yeah.
taking of like all this sort of stuff, Matt, you know, you're in this kind of flipping territory, man, where you don't want to.
There was a while. Do you remember this? A few years ago, there was a possession of Grace something, and
Oh
there was a lot
man,
of possession films where
Maggie Grace, wasn't it? It was
the
on.
people that are possessed, their names were in the title.
Yeah,
And I remember we also there was no, the possession of, I think we were messing around at the time saying, oh, next is going to be the possession of, no, I remember what it was, because we were saying, oh, these names are very like, traditional
typical
names and
traditional
all
white
that. So,
names. Yeah, yeah,
Debbie Logan, Grace something or whatever, people are going to care for them. But if
yeah.
you had the possession of Babangida or, or
Bab-
or the possession
Babby,
of
yeah.
whoever, Raj or whoever, people aren't going to come for them. They're going to be like, let them be possessed. You know what I mean? They're like,
Get 'em.
who's going to come running for Babangida? No one. Let them be possessed.
It's so true, man. When have they made a
Look,
possession movie with like, some weird ass name?
no,
It's
no, no, no,
always
no,
just
no, no,
something.
no,
So
no.
this one, and I remember we spoke about this on the show. So
Yeah.
this is from 2014. This is The Taking of
Mm,
Deborah Logan from 10
hmm.
years ago. And when you have a title like that, there's something sinister, something evil going on. You're taking Deborah. Where's Deborah going, man? And oh man, it's just like it's.
Ah,
Imagine if, like, we've spoken about it on the show, man. Like,
yeah.
when you invoke that kind of that evil spirit thing,
I'm
and
even
like,
scared to
it's.
talk about it. You know what I
I
mean?
still, I still love the story of you, man, and the flipping house, not a House on Haunted Hill. Well, it is a haunted. Well, what's the one? The one in you know,
Which one?
the one where you drove up to the
Oh,
street.
Green Street. What's it called? Oh, I can't remember what it's
Oh,
called.
what's it
It's
called?
the film. The film was called, but the oh my gosh,
Val. What's it
it's
called?
not Insidious. What's the other one again? Conjuring. The Conjuring 3,
The
Conjuring
Conjuring
2.
Part 2.
Yeah, yeah.
But what's the street? What's the street?
Green Street. Green
It's Green
Street.
Street.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. That one still kills me, man.
Mate,
Seriously,
honestly.
that story
For
absolutely
those that
kills
don't
me.
know, yeah, for those that don't know, I'll quickly just say the story. Basically, when I was, single, dating life and stuff like that, it's many years ago. So I met someone. We went on a date, went somewhere to eat, and then after the meal, we was like, oh yeah, let's keep the evening going. So we went to go see a film. Saw the film. It's a good evening. And after the film, it's like, oh, yeah, I can give you a lift home. So yeah, cool.
Yeah. It's very
Give her a lift
gentlemanly
home.
of you.
So then she tells me the address of where she lives. I'm putting in the address, and she says, "Oh, it's Green Street." And I was like, "I'm in North London, by the way, Enfield." And
That's it.
I put in Green Street, and I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "What?" I think Green Street, Green Street. She's like, "Yeah, Green Street." I was like, "Oh, do you know what happened in Green Street?" And she was like, "Huh? What happened in Green Street?" I said, like, the possession, the poltergeist, the ghosts. And she was like, "Oh, I heard something about that, but yeah, it's all rubbish." And I was like, "No, no, that shit is real. Like, you got to be careful. You know what I mean?"
There's a movie on it.
Like, oh, yeah, I dropped the house down the road. Let's walk the rest of the way. I ain't going on Green Street. Walk the rest of the way.
I love
Last time
it.
I saw her.
Yeah. If you haven't seen The Conjuring Part
Oh
2,
my
this will all
gosh,
be like, everything will make sense. Watch The
mate.
Conjuring Part 2, and that's a
Mm.
real
I don't mess around with that. Go on that
ghost
street
story.
and the ghouls to go inside me.
Oh,
Yeah.
mate.
Like,
Oh, man. Nah.
ah!
So,
Nah,
all
but
right,
yeah,
let's
so
let
this
this
Take
one
of Deborah
down.
Logan. Yes, this one's about again 10 years old Deborah Logan. It's a bit like a found footage kind of first person perspective film that way. It's about an elderly woman who's battling with Alzheimer's, and she's basically, her mind is deteriorating, so they automatically feel that is the disease that's making her go a bit, unusual. But bit by bit throughout the film, you realize that it's not the disease, that she's actually being possessed slowly. And it's a very interesting way they film it, interesting way they show it, and an interesting way it's all revealed to us towards the end of the film. But this has got 6 out of 10 on IMDb, which for this kind of film, it's actually a decent rating. It's only an hour
Yeah.
and a half long, so the film gets to the point. The film's directed by a guy called Adam Robitel, who also directed Escape Room
Yeah.
1 and Escape Room 2. He also directed Insidious, The Last
Yeah.
Key,
So you
which
see where it's all going here.
exactly Insidious, The Last Key is actually the one that's got the older lady who's the sort of lead in that film. So
Oh yeah, yeah,
exactly. So he likes that kind of the wisdom and the
yeah. Of creepy old lady.
experience. Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, interesting film. Do give this one a watch. I think you
Yeah.
can find it on either Amazon or Netflix, somewhere
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, give it a
Definitely,
watch.
definitely.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, if you
interesting.
love your possession movies, this is
Yeah.
going to be right up your alley. And
Yeah.
that leads us nicely into the film review because um, we've got a kind of listen, look, I saw the kind of the poster for this and I thought, shit, is this
Mm.
is like a home invasion? This is kind of like
Mm.
there's some sort of haunting going on and fake, people with like scary kind of masks on and things like that. And what's interesting is the fact that this is chapter 1. So I mean, we're going to probably end up getting another one because you can't just have a movie called Strangers Chapter 1 and not
Nope.
kind of have a conclusion. So Deval's going to kind of break this one down for us, let us know about the movie, give us the synopsis and give his thoughts on that. So just have a listen to this one. So take it away, Deval.
Yeah, so The Strangers Chapter 1 came out just this year, but there have been another Strangers. Strangers are everywhere. Be careful, you know. You know what I mean? So 2008 Strangers was Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler. And
Yeah,
again, that's also a home invasion film.
yeah,
And we had another Strangers film that I can't seem to find the title of, but uh, what's it called? The Strangers. Oh, it was called The Strangers and it had a sort of another title to it.
yeah.
But Pray at Night, that's the one. Strangers Pray at
Yes.
Night, that
Yeah, I
was
remember that one.
2018. But this one here, Strangers Chapter 1, this one is about a young couple, maybe in the sort of mid 20s, I would say, early mid 20s.
Mm,
They are from, I think, New York or from the city, and they want to get away and just be together, celebrate each other. I think they've got an anniversary coming up,
yeah,
or it's their anniversary. They're celebrating it together in a remote Airbnb in some remote, woodland
yeah.
cabin in the woods, basically,
Mm,
as you do.
as you do.
So they go, they order this, they book this Airbnb. On the way to the cabin, they stop at the restaurant, and at the restaurant, they're having a meal. People seem very weird at this restaurant. People like linger with their looks. It's like you see when you're
Gosh.
eating and you look up and someone's already looking at you, and you think, shit, how long were they looking at me? It's that kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So they see all of that kind of going on.
You know what? I was going to say, man, I would love to. Deval would be so funny, man, when
Yeah.
he's out and he sees these strange things.
Woo! I
He
was
would be
people
hilarious.
eating and like you see someone looking at you, you think to yourself, shit, shall I look up again? If I look up again and you're still looking at me, it's trouble, yeah?
No, man.
You
You
know
know
what I
it is.
mean? But yeah, so all these weird things are happening. They eat their food, they go to their car's not working. They're trying to, not working. And then the mechanic comes over, like literally the guy turns, mechanic's there, and he's like, oh, having trouble there, young man. I can help you with your car, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And then he's the man, the main guys sort of in a couple. You got the man and the woman. I can't remember their names, but we'll call them man one, man two, woman
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
We'll call them man and woman. So yeah,
Man
so
and woman. Yeah.
man then says, "Oh no, it's a scam. You saw us when we came in here, and you messed up my car on purpose just so you can now
Mm,
fix it." So he's always suspicious because everyone's been looking at them. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So anyway, they agree to let the mechanic take their car to the garage because he can't get the parts that night. So it means that someone else from one of the cafe people, the restaurant, gives them a lift to
Mm,
the Airbnb. So now they know where they live, and then they go there. They're staying in the Airbnb. It's a little bit creepy, but at the same time, it's romantic. She loves
yeah.
it. Escape from the city.
Yeah.
They can just spend time together bit by bit now. As they're there chilling, about to get intimate, they get knocks on the door. Not even knocks, bangs on the door. Open the door. It's a young girl. We can't even see her face because the dark shadow is there. It's
Oh my
filmed really smartly.
gosh.
It's the dark shadows that they can man and woman can see their face, but we can't as the
But we can't.
audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And who are you? Like, what do you want? Quiet for about 10 seconds. What do you want? I'm here for John. And they're like, oh, there's no John here. no John here, and then she goes away. Happens about 2 or 3 times, and then so things get more weird, and
Yeah.
then the fridge isn't working. So the boy now gets a motorbike, which is outside. He just
Oh
finds
my
it, goes
gosh.
to get some food. So he's out for a while. While he's out, leaving his woman in the place by herself,
Oh,
more
oh,
crazy shit goes on. Basically, I'm gonna cut a long story short. Things get really, really weird. Bit by
right.
bit, they start to see that intruders are in the house. Yeah,
Mm,
and the way
mm.
you can imagine, we've seen it all before.
We've seen it before. Yeah.
How they
Yeah.
film this stuff. You hear a noise, go and investigate. Got
Mm,
the torch, whatever. You see
yeah.
something, whatever. So bit by bit, she knows something's going on. He's like, oh no, it's just a creaky old house kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it gets to a stage where there's shit going on. There's shit going on.
Oh
Intruders
shit.
come into the house. Again, long story short, they tied him up.
Yep.
They
Yep.
tied
Yep.
him up, one there, and that's towards sort of the latter end of the film.
Yep.
And
They're subjected to abuse and whatever,
that's
and
I think
like,
that's where I don't. Cause I'm always conscious. Do I spoil it 100%, or do
yeah.
I tease, or do I say nothing? And in that case, you're thinking, what's the point you doing a review? So you got to do. I got to give something.
Give us
All I
something,
can.
man.
All I got to say is, once they tied him up,
Yeah.
and there's three of them, by the way. There's a man, there's a woman, and there's a younger one. There's three of them,
Okay.
and they wear these masks.
Yeah.
You know how they've got these like weird masks on,
Weird.
and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you never see their face. So they tied them up, and they're teasing them in the
Oh,
most brutal way.
really?
Yeah,
So it's
they're
basically like
teasing
psychological
them,
torture, basically.
psychological and physical.
Uh,
Yeah, and when I say this, yeah, I didn't expect, because it's the man and a woman.
yeah.
Everything's gonna be okay. All I can say is don't
Yeah.
don't. Oh man,
Don't assume.
don't assume, man. Don't assume, because in real life we know what happens.
Mm,
Real life, we know what happens.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
life is
Yeah.
not a movie, and
No,
this really surprised me.
it's brutal in that sense.
It
Oh my
is, yeah.
god.
And you think to yourself, what are they doing? Why are they doing it?
Yeah.
And there's certain parts where the man and woman, they were a bit stupid. They could
Yeah.
have, but there's also times when they are doing what we would do, and it still doesn't work.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
it still doesn't work. So apart from booking that place in the first place, yeah,
Yeah.
don't do it. But apart from that, they do actually do things that they should do, but it still doesn't
Yeah.
work.
That's still not enough. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
so it's interesting how it ends up. This is going to be a first of a
Oh,
trilogy.
and apparently they've already filmed them. They filmed them back
How
to
is it?
back. Yeah,
I
I'm just
didn't
looking at it
know
whilst
that.
like they've
I
already done it.
didn't know that. Okay, that makes it
So chapter
cheaper.
so chapter two, yeah,
Ah,
is expected to release later on in 2024, and chapter three
what, this
on
year?
this year apparently,
Oh shit.
and chapter three
Oh.
on an unspecified date. They filmed it on a budget of 8.5 million, and it's already done close to 30 million.
Yeah, exactly. That's what see. A good horror knows like massive special effects. You can make your money back. Trust
Yeah,
me. It's an
yeah.
hour and a half, so the film gets to the point as well.
And here's the interesting thing
Oh,
for me, well, for me anyway, this movie's directed by Rennie Harlin-Deval. He directed, check this out, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4,
huh?
Die Hard Part 2,
What? With a vengeance? No.
Die Hard Part 2.
What? It's in like with yeah, with a vengeance. Die Hard with a vengeance, yeah, or not?
The one where they're on the aeroplane.
Oh, sorry, part two. I'm thinking of part three. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
okay,
one with
yeah.
Sam. That
Okay,
was one
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
A Cliffhanger and The Long Kiss Goodnight.
That's good films.
I know. So this guy, Rennie Harlin,
Okay.
he's been around for kind of like he's been around for a while. So
Ah,
according to Wiki, they were filming back to back.
I didn't realize that. That makes it more efficient because you can bring the cost down as well
Mm.
when you do it like that. Ah, three films simultaneously. So
So they
we're gonna get
really
these films coming out back to back.
man. So all right. So then finally, my question then is going to be: So they move on to another family, or someone survives?
No comment.
Oh,
That's what
Deval's.
I'm not going to give you. I'm not going
Deval's.
to give you that.
All right. So listen, answers on a postcard from our
Mm-hmm.
Flixters. What happens at the end of the movie? And
Mm-hmm.
so hang on a second. So Deval, this is a reboot.
It's a fresh telling. Yeah, it's a reboot.
Ah,
Yeah, it's kind of like a reboot. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
That is interesting.
yeah,
Um, you know what? Yeah, that poster looks creepy, man. Like just these
yeah,
people with masks knocking on your door.
yeah.
It's like, do you remember that movie Us? Is it Us?
Yes, us. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then what's it? Something games,
Funny Games,
funny games.
which is
Yeah,
the
all
French
those.
one.
Ill, ill as well.
Yeah, man.
That as
This
well.
this is kind of like this genre within the kind of horror genre, which is
Mm,
kind of this kind of
mm,
home invasion type of a thing. Really interesting. I do like those. So I'll have to put this one on the watch list to check out.
yeah.
Now, listen, we haven't with that. That's the end of that review. So go check that movie out. Deval, what would you give it out of 10?
6.
6 out of 10, which
Yeah.
is half decent for a genre movie like this. Now, listen, we haven't ended, or have we, Deval?
Nope.
We've got
This.
one more.
Yeah.
This is a hidden gem, and Deval's going to speak about this one. This one was basically at the cinema for a short period of time, and I basically wasn't here, and it was on, and it wasn't out, and now you can get it on streaming or whatever. But this is Late Night with the Devil.
Trust me. So this one kind of actually follows on nicely from the Taking of DeborahLogan, because this film here it's a bit about possession actually.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, Late Night with the D. I even like saying the name because I'm scared,
Yeah.
but Late Night with the D. That could be actually a whole other film, can't it?
It could be. It could be.
You know what I mean? But yeah, this film stars David Dasmalchian. I think I'm saying it right. Yeah, so we saw him. We've seen him in a few films. We've seen
Loads of
him
things,
in
man.
Ant-Man. He was like the Russian guy, the kind of like mechanic Russian guy kind of thing. Saw him in the Suicide Squad, Oppenheimer. Saw him in Dune Part 1. He's been in a bunch of films. So yeah, the good actor. We saw him in Batman. So I think it was The Dark Knight or one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, good actor. So he's the main star in this film. This film is basically about him. He's a talk show host. This is based in the early 70s, or 1977, I think it is. And this whole film is from the studio.
Right.
This whole film is from the studio, and it's almost like a documentary style, but at the same time, it's not. So sometimes during the filming of the show, it'll be in color. When it's sort of backscene or behind the stage, backstage filming, in between adverts, it goes black and white. So it's very, creative in how they've done this, but it's all based in the 70s. Live studio audiences did the whole time. He's a late night show like David Letterman and Jay Leno, all those kind of people. So it's all done in that sort of style, and it kind of shows the battle of the late night show back in those days, and they'll do anything to try and be on top.
Right.
Because David Dalmatin's character, he used to be good. His ratings fell. He lost his wife as well, so he'd been through a lot. But he's trying to get his ratings back up. So what we see now with this show is that he's bringing on wacky characters, and he's having topics that you wouldn't normally have. So what happens in this one now, I'm not going to make this a long review, but what happens with this one is that he brings on people. One person's a skeptic, and then he brings on two people that are in or understand the occult. One person who's like a specialist or a doctor when it comes to that kind of practice, and then a young girl he brings on who the doctor says was actually possessed and is still possessed, but she's going through treatment. So this is them four on the sort of panel talking about it. The skeptic is saying, "Oh, it's nonsense, it's hypnotism," and the doctor's saying, "No, this is actually really true. It happens in different cultures, possession and stuff like that." The little girl, she says that she is possessed, but she's going through treatment, and she describes what it feels like, and like when she was possessed, and that it took over her body. It just sort of comes and she's happy going through treatment, but she's also a bit weird. Like she'll just be like and
Oh, God.
she'll say stuff that she shouldn't know.
Right. Okay.
So now and again, that sort of
Something's
thing
whispering in her
happens.
ears.
Exactly. So the show kind of goes through all kinds of twists and turns. It's a bit of a mad show. Sorry,
Yeah.
film, I should say. A bit of a mad
Yeah.
film. It's only an hour and a half, so it does get to the point. But before it gets there, it kind of builds up to who this character is, David Dalmantian, why he's being so desperate to get these characters on.
Mm.
Because he wants to get those ratings up. He's been through a lot. He's lost his wife and all kinds of stuff, and
Yeah.
he wants those ratings. And you get to see why. So during the show, the doctor he basically begs the doctor to do a demonstration
Oh
of the
gosh.
little girl possessed, and she does a demonstration, and the girls
Oh,
all like "Rah!" kind of thing, and
like Emily Rose.
yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, don't say that, please. And then she said stuff, and the chair levitates, and all kinds of stuff happens, and the skeptic says, "Oh no, that's all BS. That's all BS. What just happened was." You were hypnotized, and then he puts on a demonstration
Yeah.
of what hypnosis can do, and
Right.
he hypnotizes the whole studio audience, including the
Uh,
guests, and he
yeah.
makes everyone see something that isn't there.
Right. Gotcha. So
Yeah,
he's I get it. They're doing something interesting with the film. So is it real or is it not real?
exactly, exactly. So that happens, and then the little girl says, "Well, why don't you show the video of our demonstration?" Because they showed the skeptic does a demonstration of his hypnosis, then they play the video back and show
Mm.
people what actually happened, which was nothing.
Mm.
But we all saw a man rip worms out of his belly, but in reality nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Yeah.
When they played the video back, and the little girl says, "Okay, play our video back, you'll see." So they play the video back, and it's exactly how we saw it. She levitates. It's like
Oh.
his, and he's like, "Oh no, it's all lies, whatever." But then the film kicks in. Oh my
Does
gosh.
it? Oh, wicked.
The film kicks in and things happen that you realize this is no bullshit.
Shit.
No,
Yeah.
this is not any kind of hypnosis. This is.
Oh
Up until that
man.
point, the girl has been playing with people because then she shows her real powers. It is mad.
Mad.
And this is
Oh
all on
man.
stage. The audience are it's crazy. This is
Wicked.
a very I've never seen a possession film or a horror film take place like this.
Yeah.
If you can imagine or remember the Joker or Joker, you know, Joaquin
Yes.
Phoenix
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
De
With
Niro
Robert
has
De Niro, and they're on
yeah,
on the TV show.
exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but the film is all that.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
then you get scenes backstage, but the whole film is done there.
Yeah, man.
Audience is there, so it's very different, very interesting. It's a Shudder film who specialize in horror films.
Yep, they do.
Uh, you know, but yeah, this is an interesting film. This is not anywhere in a cinema at the moment. It came out really briefly. Now it's on demand. You can get this on Shudder. But I recommend watching this. This
Yeah,
is
man.
different. It's
It is
decent.
definitely
It's
worth
decent.
watching.
It's decent. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the review. Probably give it a 6.5 or 7 for its creativity.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
good.
Mm.
That is high praise for a movie
Yeah.
like this. So listen, man, as you know, and our listeners will know, the horror genre alive and kicking. And man, listen, it's one of those genres where they make a lot of money, jump
Yeah.
scares that, people love all that sort of stuff, low budgets and kind of big returns. So we will see more and more and more of these movies. All right, listen, look, that is the end of the show. We really, really hoped you enjoyed it. Please get in touch with us. Let us know what you're watching, what you're not watching, what you like, what you don't like. We'll speak about it on next week's show. And so we'll see you